So let's make the first 40 years of this history of the station kind of zoom by. From 1946 to about 1984, FM station 105.9 goes through many iterations and call signs, beginning first as KFI FM, an easy listening station. Then in 1958, it changes to K West, KWST 106, playing what is called beautiful music, which is just like instrumentals and like elevator music, which also is so good. Those songs are so inspiring. And that lasts until 1975 when it flips entirely and becomes a rock station, following the popular model that KMEEK and KLOS created. That only lasts 6 years until 1981 when the ratings slipped. Once again, the model was fiddle with, and this genre of...
To fiddle music?
To fiddle music, yeah. It had a resurgence because of Deliverance.
This music just brings back good memories.
So the genre of music kind of changed, and they went for like a top 40s, to try to be a top 40 station. Mm-hmm. Also around the same time, firing all of the DJs. Early 80s, they just like, we're going to clean house. So in 1983, K West converted to KMGG, or Magic 106, going for upbeat adult contemporary music, and that also didn't last. So after about 4 decades of chasing the audience and failing, Magic 106 was sold to MS Communications in Indianapolis, founded by Jeffrey Smolian. I don't know if in 1984 MS was a giant media company, but since then has become one, or at least that's what the website says.
They grew with Big Boy's stomach.
With Big Boy's stomach, they just kept getting bigger. Magic 106 held its own playing top 40 hits, but a new market in the mid 80s was starting to become popular. On the website, I got a lot of information on the term urban music, or the urban market was used a lot, which I don't like to use. The music genre more appropriately would be called hip hop, which was not quite 10 years old in its realized state by that point. Although that's arguable. I think the culture was 10 years old. I think the music was...
I mean, Rapper's Delight, as I now know from this research, was 1979, I believe. But then there was...
breakdance culture.
But there was like the funk stuff going on that was
right.
closer to hip hop than rap.
But by, I think, 86, it was starting to become what it is. Like, it's
they
starting...
did say hip hop. Hippity hippity hip.
It did.
You don't stop.
And what you hear is quite a tale about... anyways.
And now we bring in the rapping granny.
So a lot of people argue with when is the actual beginning of hip hop rap music like that would go on, like the prototype basically. But hip hop and R&B predominantly catered to an African American and Latino community, which of course even that is reductive because plenty of people from different ethnicities, cultures, classes all love hip hop.
Hey, I was listening to Big Boy.
While MS wouldn't adopt this genre right away, the slow integration would eventually become the station's identity. So by January of 1986, MS would establish the station as a channel for dance music, top 40s, but it would need a new name. Magic 106 KMGG would now be K-Power KPWR 106, Power 106, and use the new moniker LA's Hottest Music, which I feel like I heard that at the tail end of its existence, and then eventually became Where Hip Hop Lives.
Where hip hop lives. I feel like a lot of stations have, maybe it's just, I don't know where I heard that, but I heard it somewhere. I swear to God.
I've heard LA's Hottest Music.
That's just what I say whenever I put in a CD of Sum 41 into my CD player.
That's what I say out loud.
LA's Hottest Music.
LA's Hottest Music.
A bunch of Canadians.
We're trying to be skaters from San Diego. God. Power 106 first DJ would be Jay Thomas, who was a comedian and actor you might know from Murphy Brown and Cheers. That was Carla's boyfriend in Cheers. And he would pop up every once in a while in Cheers.
Carla had a boyfriend?
Yeah, briefly. And they got married. And I don't remember it. He passed away in 2017, but they mentioned his show on Power 106 being a morning zoo radio program, which already makes it sound very curious about him. Around 1990, it was...
Do you like morning radio?
No.
I hate it.
Yeah, I've always hated it.
It's not good because I just never, I mean, it's kind of like a podcast,
sure,
but like I don't know. I don't know what it is. Like it is very abrasive, I guess.
Yeah.
But like maybe that's just the stereotype I'm thinking of.
Right. But there's not too many, like the stereotype exists because I've heard plenty of morning radio before.
I mean, we might be more morning radio than Frosty and the Girl or whatever. It was frustrating. It was almost hostile. Like I was hostile towards it in the morning, maybe because I'm so tired and like I just want to hear some music. Like I don't want to hear games and like people shouting like all of the state capitals so they can win gas money.
Right. And especially because it cuts between commercials that are so aggressively trying to get your money, and then you go to 3 hosts all with seemingly different personalities, but they're all just like shouty know-it-alls. And then there's like the bad boy.
That's Frosty.
Yeah, that's Frosty. And then like, of course, like mid 90s when I was listening to all of this stuff, so many things were happening in the news that you just couldn't get. The internet has not made it easier. But like, I don't want to hear about Bill Clinton anymore. I don't want to hear about OJ anymore. I don't want to hear jokes about Amy Fisher anymore. Please leave me alone. And he's just like, oh, that's what Amy Fisher said.
All I want to hear is Rapper's Delight over and over and over.
I know that it's a 9-minute song. I just want to hear it again.
It gets me going in the morning. What can I say? People really have fond memories of Kevin and Bean.
Yeah, Kevin and Bean.
Was Rodney Bingenheimer a morning guy?
No, he was a late night guy.
Okay. Late night I like. Yeah, I do like that's also like that's a different vibe.
Yeah.
Because they're not as annoying. It's kind of sleepy.
It's kind of sleepy. It's usually one person.
And it's weird.
Yeah.
And it's usually like, maybe I'm just thinking of not Art LeBeau, the guy that we once did an intro making fun of, and then he died shortly after.
Oh, we did spooky Art LeBeau.
Who was that guy?
What's his
the guy
name?
where people call in and talk about alien stuff. Like, I love that sort of thing.
Oh my God, what I was thinking about him the other day, and his name, I was saying it out loud, and now I can't even think of it.
Well, our intro killed him. What else can we say?
I remember listening to one or having one on in my periphery, Danny Bonaducci and Gretchen something and another person. I was like, oh my God, no more, please.
What was Loveline a night? That must have been
that was a night thing. Yeah, that was a nighttime thing.
I never listened. Like, Melissa, I know loved love.
We know love.
Love.
It's on paper that we know love. Yeah.
Yeah. I never listened to that, but pre-Insanity, Adam Carolla was entertaining.
Sure.
So
for me to now have a podcast is really funny because having to listen to a person talk on the radio used to make me so mad because I just want to hear Korn. I just want to hear Korn.
And that brings us to our latest Korn hit, Mommy's Gotta Die, or whatever Korn sings about.
Mommy's Gotta Die. You're thinking of Marilyn Manson.
I'm always thinking of Marilyn Manson.
Around 1990, it was contending for the #1 spot as a favorite radio station in LA and Orange County, along with Coast 103.5. And
really?
Yeah, and their top
so
40
boring.
soft hits, and Kiss FM too. These three were fighting for the top 3 and like interchanging spots. Like sometimes you'd be 2, sometimes you'd 3, sometimes you'd be #1. But for years, these 3 stations, it seemed like were fighting for the #1 spot.
I never really liked Kiss FM either.
Never.
It was so popular, and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
And Ryan Seacrest, I wasn't a big fan of.
Yeah. I knew I wouldn't like somebody if they're like, my favorite station's Kiss FM. And we're going to drive somewhere that's on Kiss FM.
My sisters would play it all the time growing up, so I'd hear Kiss FM.
I have enough.
And I guess they played good songs, but it wasn't, I'm a big boy guy.
I'm a big boy guy.
As I was then. As I told my parents, I am a big boy, which is why I listened to Big Boy.
I was a very angry child. Who was just
you were angrier than I was.
Yeah, I just wanted to hear Black Sabbath all the time.
When I sort of became had a car and was listening, I was listening to K-Earth all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's all I was listening to.
When I started driving, by that time, I was listening to K-Earth because I'm like, I just want to hear. Now, like a full reversal of like, I just want to hear softies. Soft oldies, softies, please. No more anger, please. You're a nice boy. Do nice things. Also in 1991, Power 106 True Competition starts, and that's 92.3 The Beat, which is the other hip-hop station, which through the 90s it would play hip-hop, but proved to historically be the station that was more loved and ultimately less popular, which means it was better. 1992 would be the year that Power 106 would go fully into hip-hop, R&B, and dance music. 1992 was also a huge year for hip-hop. I'm not going to pretend like I know a lot about hip-hop, but a little bit I know. When I read what was charting in 1992, like, oh man, wow. Go over some of the big ones. You had some House of Pain. Yeah, there was some Crisscross, but you also had Dr. Dre's Chronic, which was a huge album. Let Me Ride was playing on the radio apparently all the time. Ice Cube's It Was a Good Day came out in 1992. It still plays like on the radio now. BC Boys Check Your Head, which is one of their best albums. You also had the band Arrested Development, Eric B. I had to clarify.
I love that one song they do where Ron Howard's talking.
Yeah. Season 3 of that band is really good.
When they brought Liza Minnelli into the band, it really took it to another level.
You also had Eric B. and Rakim, who were really good. Gangstar, Far Side.
I didn't like the Netflix remake of that band though. I got what they were going for.
I got that they want to bring everybody back together, but they should have brought everybody back together.
It was like a COVID TV show, but way before COVID.
Aside from like standard hip hop, you also had In Vogue, Tony Braxton, and Shaka Khan playing.
Shaka Khan?
Shaka Khan.
Shaka Khan.
Between 1991 and 1993, 2 of my favorite hip hop albums were released, which was 1991's Low End Theory and 1993's Midnight Marauders, both by Tribe Called Quest. So they within 2 years released some of the best albums.
If it wasn't on Big Boy, I don't know.
1993 would also see Enter the World from the Wu-Tang Clan. Cream, Cash Rules Everything Around Me was charting, as it should have been and should still be charting. Snoop Dogg came out around this time, Cypress Hill, De La Soul, KRS-One, Tupac Shakur, all around the early 90s, between like 1993 1992 to 1994. Like this big, huge surge in great quality hip hop was coming out. Because of all the wow of great music that many consider the golden era of hip hop, the personality of the station began to develop. A new late night hip hop show popped up from the Baker Boys, who were brothers Nick and Eric Vidal, called Friday Night Flavors, which was a long running favorite. From this show, 3 future personalities would spring. DJ E-Man, who's Emmanuel Coquia, who later becomes the program director for 106, like decades later. Fuzzy Fantabulous, who would be a guest host, and a DJ whose real name is Kurt Alexander. We'll get back to him. After
Greg,
is he big?
What's his body type? I might be able to figure this out.
I don't usually ask this question because it's rude.
I don't mean to shame anybody, but on a scale of small to big, what kind of boy is he?
Is he a boy or is he a man? Also debuting in 1992 was a late night Saturday show that ran from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. called Power Tools Mix Show, hosted by Richard Humpty Vision. Power Tools specialized.
I like that radio DJs can have the stupidest names and still be considered
cool. And we accept
cool.
it. We're like, oh, cool. Okay.
Humble Herb. Wow.
Smash Nuts. Cool. Mom, I want to listen to Smash Nuts. Yeah. Oh, is that a band or a person? It's a person. Okay.
I got to get to the radio. Fuzzy Wuzzy's new show is starting.
Serious though? Fuzzy Wuzzy's show? It's really good.
Changed my life.
Power Tools.
Changed my commute on the school bus every morning.
So Humpty Vision hosted Power Tools Mix Show, which was like dance music and kind of like techno house music. I don't really know the difference, but it was like hardcore dance, like the kind of dance where like, how does anyone dance to this? In 1996, Power would be
like this.
Daniel's full dancing. Right it's he's just breakdancing and not very well. He's spent most of the time looking for a cardboard to lay down.
The whole time I've been digging through a dumpster behind Albertsons trying to find
quietly
cardboard.
Beatboxing to myself.
Ooh, a rat.
Is this? Oh, he's dead. No, he's not. In 1996, Power would begin their troublesome shuffle between hip-hop and R&B and music that aimed almost directly at their Latino listeners. So they would chase the Latino demographic all the way to hell. For a while in that year, they shifted away from hip-hop and started playing house music, resulting in the Baker Boys either leaving due to frustration with the music shift or frustration over being moved from Friday nights, their slot for Friday Night Flavors, onto like a morning show and then afternoon. So they lost their late night show where I guess they had more freedom to play whatever they want. And now they're like during the day where they have to play like what's hot. Friday Night Flavors would eventually be picked back up by the Fantastic Four crew for the number standing for the F in 1998, and that ran until 2006. Also around this time, Power 106 was looking for a morning host and decided on a DJ and former security guard for the Far Side named Kurt Alexander, or as we know him now, Big Boy.
What's the Far Side? The comic strip?
I knew you were going to say that. I absolutely 100% knew and still did not prepare. I should have written in my notes, not the comic strip.
I didn't prepare my rebuttal.
Far Side was a hip hop group and they're very good. Also very good, the comic strip.
Yeah, I mean, hey, let's not put down the Far Side.
It's no Calvin and Hobbes. It's no Peanuts, but it's quite good.
It's no Doonesbury.
It's no Dilbert. Did the creator go crazy? Then it's no Dilbert. If you grew up or lived in LA for some time, you have for sure for a time lived in Big Boy's neighborhood. Like I was saying before, he's the most relatable and maybe the most...
This is Big Boy's neighborhood and we're all just living in it.
And we all have to pay taxes to him. He's kind of the Lord. He's the most relatable.
Lord.
He's the most relatable and approachable of the local celebrities. If you think of other celebrities being like Angeline and like the guy who rides rollerblades around like Venice Beach. It's you, yeah. No shirt. And they're like, oh, it's rollerblading Jesus or whatever. Like of all those type of celebrities you'd see around, I think Big Boy is the most approachable. Like you're not going to see Vin Scully at Philippe's. You're not going to see like Dallas Reigns.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. You're R.I.P. Vin Scully, the greatest of all time. I feel like you wouldn't see Dallas Reigns at a like a donut shop. Like you just don't see those.
I also wouldn't want to go up to Angeline and be like, hey, because she'd try to make me buy something out of her trunk. Like I don't think Big Boy's going to be like, you want a shirt?
Yeah.
It's going to cost you.
You want to take a photo with me? Let me get out my rates. Rates for what? Oh no. Yeah, Big Boy just seems genuinely like a nice guy who likes people. I might be wrong. He just seems like that. I never thought about Angeline. I never thought like, oh, Angeline seems approachable.
She's a real people person.
She's a real people person. He was on almost all the Power 106 billboards promoting his show. He was in the Hollywood Christmas Parade. He was a frequent of local news stations to the point where I'm like, is he like an anchor now? Like I see him so frequently that I'd be like, does he work here?
And now for the war in Iraq with Big Boy.
He was generally well loved unless you do what I did for research and ask the internet. And the internet seems to not agree with me that he's well loved. It never occurred to me that people have vitriolic feelings towards Big Boy, but they do.
I didn't really feel affection or anger towards him. He was just always there for me because I didn't. The bus driver would just play Power 106 really loud.
Yeah, me too. Really loud, like upsettingly loud, almost like he was trying to drown us out. But we weren't going to stop talking. So suddenly we were shouting, and there was loud hip hop, and we were like the most aggressive school bus bus on the street.
And we're also all in 7th grade.
Like there would be like a good patch of the students on the bus who really love the music and would be singing it and really into it. And then the crowd was visibly unaware of what was happening.
Why can't we have KHJ on? Oh, they're out of business?
I think Kevin and Bean is on right now. We might be, if you turn in right now, we could hear Weezer, maybe. Shut up!
I believe this morning is when they're playing Richie Valens' other hits on K-Earth. That was me.
I think we have a good chance to hear Donna today. On his show, he was joined by Fuzzy Fantabulous, who also worked backstage with Farside. He was either running lights or a sound engineer or maybe both. And then later, Big Boy was joined by DJ E-Man. When Power 106 was playing in my periphery growing up, the music choices leaned away from, like, let's say quality hip-hop and was more towards like R&B and flashy Puff Daddy hip-hop, which is just pop music. Biggie would be playing, sure, but you also had a lot of Will Smith, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Wyclef Jean, Coolio, Mariah Carey, Master P, Boyz II Men. That was like the era that I grew up in. Mm-hmm. And Boyz II Men is fine.
Boy, do I love Wyclef Jean.
Bone Thugs and Harmony is not bad. They had a couple hits. That's what I seem to remember most about Power 106. The changes, though, kept coming for the station. I always I guess because I have that point in my head about the station Frozen and Amber. It's always this, but like that was just one moment of the station that seems to be, from the research, frequently changing styles of music and who they're chasing as their audience.
I feel like stations should never change.
Yeah.
Like just keep it, and if suddenly like it's 2022 and you originally were playing 60s music, like too bad. You still play 60s music. Someone else is going to play 2022 music.
It's so irrational to me that K-Earth is like, well, in the 80s we were playing 60s music. That was only 20 years. So now that it's 2000, we're going to play 80s music. That's not, the transfer rate is off.
They're also playing Britney Spears on K-Earth.
Yeah, because that was 20 years ago.
So hang on, Greg. Are you telling me I'm no longer 14?
I'm no longer a freshman at DBM?
The cycle is speeding up and the Ouroboros that is nostalgia radio is eating itself.
And I just want to hear doo-wop on the radio, and it's absurd that...
And there's nowhere to hear it anymore because K-Surf turned to classical music. That's too old.
I wanted old music. This is the monkey paw curse of like, oh no, they gave it to me.
Oh, so you
like old music with strings, huh? Guess what?
Then you're going to love chamber music from Austria.
The newest hit from Mozart von Beethoven. So by 2000, a nefarious Clear Channel bought 92.3 The Beat and switched formats, thus ending the reign of Power 106's big rival. But by this point, through Power 106's catalog of pure and true hip-hop, their catalog of music was getting low. Also around this time, when Big Boy was becoming the face of Power 106 and ruling the Billboard at ad space in LA, his weight was becoming less of a joke, 2002 joke. So like joke. Big Boy was a less endearing title because he weighed 510 pounds.
Oh my God, he was that big?
He was morbidly obese.
He was morbidly obese, boy?
I see. It doesn't sound good when you put it like that. This was 2002.
Wow, I didn't realize he was that big. Me neither.
I don't remember him.
I thought it was just like a big guy.
Yeah.
And like that's his thing. He's Big Boy.
I don't remember him being that big boy.
I mean, I only saw him from like the shoulders up on a billboard.
That's
true.
I
can't. And that was pretty big because that was a billboard.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that was actual size.
Yeah, he was morbidly obese. So the New Year's resolution of Will Smith was to help Big Boy reduce his weight and move out of the range of morbidly obese and go down to regularly obese.
I've got one strategy for this. If you don't lose 300 pounds, you see this right hand?
And you know what I'll do right after? I'll win an Oscar.
Get that high calorie food out of your mouth.
He made him get jiggy with it until he lost the weight. Just saying those words, I just remember being trapped on the school bus, like, make this stop. You can make this stop. Just lower it. Will Smith did this by pledging that he would donate $1,000 per pound to charity if Big Boy could lose 50 pounds.
Will Smith must be having some money trouble because he's, I think, lost a lot more than that by this point.
It's been a while since he's had Men in Black 2. Oh, sorry, Men in Black 2. Men in Black 2, Independence Day, Fresh Prince money.
He's called that pursuit of happiness money now.
He won an Oscar, so something might have gotten in the way of him success. I don't remember.
Well, he's about to lose some money to Chris Rock in the
impending trial. Big Boy accepted this challenge, and with the help of a personal trainer and a strict diet regimen, he lost 110 pounds, meaning a charity of his choice was gifted $110,000 by Will Smith, which is really noble and good for Will Smith and good for Big Boy. Sadly, after that, Big Boy would regain all that weight plus some more. So in 2003, he underwent weight loss surgery and dropped 250 pounds.
Did Will Smith take the money back from the charity?
Well, he had to. Legally, he was obligated to take the money back from the charity.
Get my generous donation out of these hungry kids' mouths.
The newer, slimmer Big Boy was still up on billboards to the shock of many people who were unaware that he had surgery.
So how, like, what does he weigh now? What a morning show we've become. How much does Big Boy weigh now?
I didn't look that up, but he's slimmer.
The pictures I've seen, he is, like,
noticeably slimmer.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't say necessarily like a fit, but he's not
a
slimmer guy.
500 pounds.
2005, it seemed the style of music shifted away from hip hop and R&B artists almost entirely, and it was gearing towards dance and pop. Power 106 would play 2005 era Gwen Stefani, somebody named Baby Bash, and Natalie's 2005 song Going Crazy, which was produced by Baby Bash, which were like R&B hip hop adjacent, more like.
Is that any relation to Baby Boss? No, Boss Baby.
You're mixing your genres up. Like this music was sort of like R&B hip hop, more than adjacent. I would say like influence. Like it was influenced by music.
Yeah, the way that
was hip hop, but what you're putting, your output is not hip hop.
Yeah, like one of the later Coldplay songs,
right?
Where it's basically just like a Mariah Carey song.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is not hip hop, but it's certainly not Coldplay.
It's not Coldplay. Their catalog music was getting closer to like top 40 soft hits, which I guess genre-wise is called rhythmic contemporary, but it's not what it started as. It's not what made it big, or maybe it is. A reason for this might have been to demographics, since the market seemed to favor Latinx listeners. And according to demographics, which I did not see, that community of radio listeners listened to whatever rhythmic contemporary is. That was like their genre of music. This was the biggest.
Never even heard that term before.
Rhythmic contemporary?
Yeah.
The website that I got a lot of information from loved that term. And it loved the term urban music. And I was like, stop saying it. There's a genre of music.
DailyStormer.com.
Yeah. Power 106 was now in direct competition with top 40 station KISS and KXOL Latino 96.3, which played Hispanic hip hop, reggaeton, dancehall, and R&B for bilingual listeners. Also, in response to the popularity of Latino 96.3, Power 106 fired and replaced all of their non-Latino DJs with Latino radio personalities, except for Big Boy and Fuzz Fantabulous, because they have alliterative names.
Seems problematic.
Yeah, that's a problem. Joining them was Todd the Hater, Crystal B, and DJ E-Man, who had been on the show for a long time. In 2008, dance freestyle music, which was usually played on Power Tools, was starting to integrate into Power 106 afternoon and weekend shows. So much so that they gave the genre its own non-time show, Party 106 Party Mix. So it had like an hour block where they would just play like house music or dance music. Technology finally encroached into the daily radio habits of most people as the internet's dominance over our lives made itself well known in 2010. That year is when Power 106 started streaming online. By 2012, they were added to iHeartRadio, and 2016, LA would change forever as Big Boy would leave Power 106 for Real 92.3, returning to hosting a morning show. After years of false starts and opportunities in movies and TV that didn't really pan out, Big Boy was looking for a fresh start, and with other radio sidekicks like Fuzzy Fantabulous, Tattoo, and Luscious Liz, who were all personalities on Power 106, after they were all leaving or getting fired, it seemed like the time to make the jump. So now he's on another station hosting a radio show.
He's been in movies?
He was like cameoed in a lot of stuff. You see him pop up. I forgot what the movies were, but you see him pop up and stuff. I think they tried to give him his own, ABC gave him his own show, which was like a music show, but it didn't pan out.
Is he in There Will Be Blood?
Yeah, he's one of the guys in There Will Be Blood. Why don't I own this? You could see
Big Boy
in the background. He's running with Paul F. Tompkins. He's like, Mr. Plainview. Big Boy's also there too, just kind of hanging out.
And Big Boy was there. And Paul F. Tompkins was there.
In 2017, MS sold the station to Morello Media Networks, which they say is the largest minority-owned media group in California. They also own K-Day and KDEY K-Day, and pretty much dominate the hip-hop market. In 2019, Power 106 introduced Nick Cannon as their morning host for the Nick Cannon mornings from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m.
They did, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
And how's that going for them?
He had to take a year off after being fired or leaving after he's had anti-Semitic comments and a tirade about conspiracies during a podcast episode.
You can get in trouble for what you say on a podcast?
Since when? Well, all of a sudden I bring up the Rothschilds and I'm anti-Semitic. He later came back to host the show in 2021. So that's as much time as you get for if you say something against.
Well, cancel culture is real.
Just ask this year's star, Mel Gibson.
Just ask Louis C.K.'s tour.
Their current on-air hosts include DJ Fally Dell, Letty, Just Incredible, Mondo Fresco, Demi Lobo, and Brianna, among many others, are now like their regular staff. Power 106 still exists and is as popular as any other radio station is at a time when streaming music and podcasts allow listeners more options. So they're still
popular
around.
As a radio station can be
right now. Power 106 was a dominant station in the city, but has had many controversies, which include cultural appropriation and sexism. Power 106 was among the stations that dominated the airways while I was growing up, so it can't be ignored, even though it seems that true hip-hop fans gravitate more towards K-Day and 92.3 The Beat.